China, that little tiger right there. Yeah, that came from China. Or Japan. They were only there for 4 days and they got kicked out of the country because of COVID. Yeah.
What's the story behind your lamp?
Oh, it's Boondock Saints. I love it.
You like that movie?
Yeah. They're good looking. Yeah, my son did these ones and these ones. That's 40 years old. He did this one. He didn't finish it, but that's a lionfish. You know what a lionfish is? Anybody? It's fish. It's the ocean. All these little barbs are poisonous. And I got stuck by one. My hand swelled up in 5 minutes. Worst pain I ever felt. And yeah, so that one, and he's just covered up a little one. This one my granddaughter did. Look at that. That's a picture of me. See it?
That's a good one.
Yeah, and this is just like some OG stuff. You know what I mean? That I've had since I was, gun on the side. Yeah, that's
When did you get your first tattoo?
God, like, I don't know, 9, 10.
Do you remember how?
Yeah, I got it with the guitar string. No machine, just pick, you know?
What was it?
It said Spacey Tracy. Underneath this mouse is what that is. But yeah, that was my first tattoo, Spacey Tracy. My mom didn't see it for like 7 or 8 years. Then she was mad.
Where are you from originally?
Sacramento, California.
And what point did you move to Arkansas?
Let's see. Probably about 25 years ago.
Why did you decide to make that move? That's pretty different places.
Man, there was so much meth going on there, you know what I mean? And gangs. I didn't want my kids to get in that. So we moved out here to the meth capital. Van Buren County.
How did you find this place originally?
My son used to date the lady that was in here. She moved and I got it. I only pay $120 a month for it, which is good.
What are your memories of growing up in California?
Oh my God. I was kind of a gangster, an OG, you know what I mean? So I did a lot of things I probably shouldn't have done. Yeah, it was fun. Things I remember, you say?
Mm-hmm.
God, everything. I can remember locking my sister in the closets. My parents, they died when I was like 30. And they were my best friends.
So you had a good relationship with your parents,
Oh, yeah. Mom got a little crazy sometimes, but my dad was just like, ah. But yeah, she schizophrenic. So, it's all right.
What did your dad do for a living?
He worked for McKesson's. Do you know what McKesson's is?
Nope.
If you ever go to the doctors, you'll see that little thing on the wall. That's McKesson's. So he used to deliver all that, drug stuff, and then he's also fixed washing machine and dryers on the side to raise all 6 of his kids, That was a lot of kids.
What was it like growing up with that many siblings?
It was all right. We never fought between each other at all. We had like 4 kids in one room and 2 in the other room. And then Mom and Dad had their room, our love shack, whatever they want to call it.
Are there things that you miss about living in the city?
I miss my friends. That's about it. The city. Every time I go past the house, the old houses, they're not the same. You know what I mean? Everybody's got bars on their windows, and we just. They shot my mom's house after they died, and so I started putting my kids in the bathtub. I figured that was the safest place for them. So that's where they slept at nighttime. You know, here we don't have to worry about it. You know what I mean? Here, you know, I used to work with the inmates and stuff like that. So they all know me. You know, I've got a few that'll do anything for me. You know what I mean?
What kind of work did you do with inmates?
I worked for the recycling center, so I just put them to work, make sure they didn't run off or anything like that. Yeah, you get to know them. Then I had juvenile kids, which they really don't listen good. But the regular inmates, none of them ran away. Thank God. But I did find out that when they were getting the cardboard, because that's what they first ran to, was the cardboard bin. And then after we didn't get them no more, I went to go clean out the cardboard bin, and there was a big old bag of weed with meth. That's why they were trying to get it out, you know what I mean? So, yeah, there was 4 girls working there, and we kicked ass. We kicked ass. We did good. But yeah, that's where I worked there with the inmates, you know what I mean? But it was fun. They always say, "Hey, you're the lady that can pick up a dime with the forklift." That's me. Yeah, that's me. I get a lot of, "Hi, Tracy." I'm like, dude, I don't even remember you. You know, there's so many of them. You know, and then I was a Boy Scout mom. You know, I was a cook here at the school. That didn't last very long. My second, that one didn't last very long either. The recycling center, I was there for like 9, 10 years. And then, yeah, I swooped over and knocked the county judge right in his eyeball. Yeah, so I got fired. I'm kind of a hippie biker chick, you know what I mean? And, like, my son had been painting that in Spain, and they gave it to me. They got this for me, like in New Orleans, you know, and it's a little devil. That's my son. But this is it's different. This tattoo I've had since I was young too, and what it says, if you look in the mirror, I can't say because there's guards around the palace. And so my daughter-in-law painted me with my dog around the palace, which is cool. Like, this was made for me, this was made for me, that was made for me. Yeah, everything. My son made that right there. My daughter-in-law made that one. You know anime is? Yeah, anime. He has Anime Fridays. But, you know, like I said, he made that. He made this. He just makes a lot of stuff, and he lets me have it, you know. Like this book right here. This book right here, that's my son. He did the front cover and the back cover of this book. Yeah, so that's actually his real life right there. But, yeah, so Clinton, it's an okay town. You just, you know, pick and choose who you hang around with. Because there's not a lot of good people in this town. There's about 50 churches, though.
Are you a religious person?
Spiritual. Yeah.
How would you explain your spirituality?
I don't know. I kind of like to be one with the earth, you know what I mean? I don't, yeah, I got rosaries and stuff, but, that's come from Cuba, my friends over there. But yeah, oh, God dang it. It's burning me.
How did you get into the firefighting?
Well, it started when I was like 14. I used to work on the Pacific Crest Trail. I don't know if you guys know where that is. The Pacific Crest Trail. Almost, it's in Oregon and stuff like that. It runs all the way to Mexico. And that was my second job. And I was doing fire lines. And my second job was, I didn't have to go through any classes for that. They just hired me directly. And then I went to the California Conservation Corps for a year, and they hired me directly there. And then I went to be a fireman, and they hired me there. I didn't have no training, you know, just what I learned. You know, that's what I did.
Do you remember any experiences that stand out to you about your time fighting fire?
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, there was just one time I thought I was going to get really killed, and I had to clean the ground off and throw that thing over me. And it didn't get me, but it got pretty close. It very scary. Very scary. You know, you'd be working 3 days on that fire. And yeah, it was interesting. I was the first, I was the second one, because it's seasonal, you know what I mean, for college students, and I was the first person that came in with the captain for like 7 days. And then other people would come in. So it was cool. You know, it was crazy, but it was cool. But there were some times I got really scared. I just hopped over went in the woods, where it was already burned, But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it big time.
What about it did you enjoy?
Everything, man. It was like a rush when you got out there and you were putting that fire out. That was great, man. It was one of the best things. I should have kept at it. But Arkansas doesn't have any, where I'm at, firemen, except for volunteers, you know what I mean?
Do you find that you're a thrill seeker?
Yeah. I love to parachute, anything like that, I take my grandkids and my sisters. When my sisters turn 50, then I take them parachuting. Every time my grandkids turn 16, I take them parachuting. So that's their new thing now. They're good kids too.
Parachuting out of a plane?
Yeah. In California, yeah. That was like my 15th time, I think. My son went with me. And yeah, I got to hook up with this. I didn't hook up with him, but he's the one that I rode down with. Yeah. I was like, woo! But besides that, I'm retired. I'm done. I done broke my back twice. Yeah, it's not bad. I was shot in the chest right here when I was actually like 6. And what I was doing was stealing watermelons. I was stealing watermelons from a farmer, and he shot us with salt rock. And it was bad. It was really bad.
He shot you in the chest?
That farmer did. Big, rock salts. You ever been shot with salt rock?
No.
It's not nice. Just stay out of people's gardens.
I tried to.
Yeah, out of their flowers. Oh no, they're.
Do you remember what happened afterwards? Were your parents upset?
With what?
With getting shot with the rock salt.
No. I deserved it. My parents were kind of old for their age, you know what I mean? People thought that was my grandfather, but it wasn't my grandfather, it was my dad. But he lived for a long time, my mom lived for a long time. Yeah, both my grandparents lived to 102. I don't know how they do that. I'd like to know. Right here. And that was all bushes, and I cut them all back to there. And none of these flower beds were there. I made all the flower beds. My fire pit. I like to light that up. When it snows, I'll cover it. Then I'll come sit out here in my lounge chair and have a fire. My own fire. A lot of kids came through this house. There were several that were overdosing. You know what I mean? I'd give them shampoo and just down their throat. And, then they'd throw up. And that's how I'd get them to kind of come back. You know what I mean? But I've tased several people in my house. I had one girl that came over. That was my youngest son's friend. She said, roll a joint. I said, okay. She went in the bathroom. When she came out, there was a spoon sitting, out of her. So she went into my bathroom when she was up. So she came out, she had that spoon. Boy, I went to work with her on that taser. I said, I know what you did. That's unacceptable. See, I did it a lot of times. But yeah, I can have a temper. But everybody knows me in this town. They're like, don't mess with Tracy. You know what I mean? Because, yeah, sometimes I have a temper. Hey, there's a cucumber right there. One coupon. One. This rug right here, dude. I should never put it out here. This is a real Indian blanket right here. Real Indian. And I should have never set it out here. Because it's worth a lot of money. I could probably clean it up, I guess. That's real Indian, though.
Where did you get that?
I got it at the recycling center. Somebody threw it away. I keep it real. Sex, everything. You know what I mean? I tell them, don't marry the first girl you're with, or because you're having sex with a girl, don't mean you have to marry him. You know what I mean? But yeah, I went through a lot of kids. You know what I mean? But they would all come over here to party. Is what they would do. You know what I mean? And if the cops showed up, I just shut the door. Tell them get a warrant. You know what I mean? What can they do? So they got a warrant. By that time, everything was cleaned up. I shouldn't have shut that guy's. Should have cut his ankle bracelet off. It was fun.
Who are these people here?
That's my mom and dad. And that's my grandmother. She's 102 right there. Yeah, that's my mom and dad right there.
What were their names?
Don and Howard.
Don and Howard.
Mm-hmm. My dad had like 16 brothers and sisters. I think my other grandma had 16 brothers, or my mom had 16 brothers and children. I don't know how a person does that. My childhood, yeah, man, I cut my sister's finger off. You know, she told me to sharpen that blade because she couldn't cut her wrist. I just said, tick, like you cut my finger off. I said, yeah. And I had a friend over here one day, and I was shooting my gun out there, and she said I could shoot a tree if I wanted to. So I shot her. It stuck right here, and it didn't go very far. She was able to pull it out. And, yeah, my poor sister. And when I was a young girl, about 8 or 9, my mom was a little abusive, so somehow or another I set the house on fire. So I took my little sister out, we hid. We left my mom in there because we didn't want our ass kicked. So she found us. She said, I'm not going to hurt you. And she put the fire out, you know, but I did a lot of gangster stuff when I was younger. You know, I did a drive-by shooting, you know, stuff like that. But, you know, I went to, like, Day on the Green. It was, like, 3 days. You know, if there was a party going on for several days, that was me. You know, I'm in my 50s. I still do mushrooms. I do that with MDA or whatever that shit is. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, I do that. You know, yeah. You know what I mean? I like especially that MDA or whatever it was. It took me kind of in an altered state for maybe 20 minutes. You know what I mean? But it's fantastic. It's fantastic.
Do you feel like you learn about yourself on psychedelics?
No. No, I don't think so. I was taking them in school like 3 days a week. You know what I mean? Nobody ever knew. But yeah, my mom was the mean one and my dad was the sweet one. Huh, Sybil?
Do you find any similarities between your parents and you now that you're older?
God, there's something. I'm more like my dad. Kind of mellow, laid back. Don't push my buttons. You know, you only get 3 strikes. But my mom, nah, she'd grab an extension cord and start hitting that up and down the legs. You know what I mean? But you know, 7 kids, come on. You gotta be a little wacko. You know what I mean? That's a lot of kids to feed. You know? Yeah, so she became a bus driver, and yeah, there's 5 girls and 2 boys. The youngest one that I cut her finger off, she's kind of like me. I'm being pretty mellow right now. She ain't got no filter. You know, I ain't got a filter. I write a lot of convicts that are in prison. You know what I mean? Family members. You know, like I went to visit one and I had a boot on that had a metal part in it. And I got scared because they called me by my maiden name. I'm like, oh my God, I'm caught, you know. Statute of limitations had to run out on that. Everybody was like, shut up, don't say nothing. I'm like, they're calling me my last name, you know, my maiden name. So I didn't know what kind of trouble I was into. But yeah, we did a lot of stuff, you know. Things I remember, like my dad had a heart attack and said, you girls never smoke. Don't be smoking. And then one day we were sitting up at the school, me and 4 kids, they're smoking, and a man drives up. I'm probably 10 or 11, on a bicycle. And he said, he put that little thing right here and said, you kids shouldn't smoke, because this is what happens. And boy, it really got us, you know what I mean? It really, and we still think about it. I'm like, we're smoking. Remember that man? They're like, I know, you know.
Where is this photo taken?
Which one?
This one of your parents.
That looks like our house in Bright. Yeah, that's our house in Bright, California, right there. I have a friend that, oh God. But yeah, there's quite a bit of things I remember. I wish I would have asked more questions to my dad, though, and my mom. My mom was a gambler. She'd lose $1,000 in 5 or 10 minutes. That's way too much money.
What game did she play?
Casinos. Casino games. You know, she had a slot machine in her closet. She'd pull it down. If she got a winning, she would go to Lake Tahoe or something. But I inherited that slot machine, but I couldn't make it. And I had to sell a slot machine to feed my kids. You know what I mean? So I think everything I have, I didn't have to get rid of it. But, like, I'm talking everything. I sold my bedroom set, which was new, and, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do to survive. You know what I mean? It's